Tua, to me, is a hazard right now. And it's a shame. And he shouldn't be the poster boy of CTE. I don't know if he's going to have CTE, but we know Sid the Kid. Anybody watch hockey? Sidney Crosby has had like 10 concussions in his career. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to him when he retires from hockey. He's still playing, still at the top of his game. There's no question he's still a sensational player. But when you have that many concussions, the first thing that pops up is CTE. When you hit your head on the turf as much as Tua has, and this is not just the NFL. In college, he had 2 concussions when he played for Alabama. How many concussions or concuss is he going to have where he's not going to understand that this is his time to walk away? He just got a big contract. No matter what happens, it's guaranteed money. He gets guaranteed $100 million. Why would you want to go out there and risk, being brain dead in the future? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. You make your $100 million, you become a college coach, or you be an NFL coach, you work your way up as a quarterback coach to an NFL coach. I mean, Tua can absolutely be that. He seems like he's a leader. He's a born leader. You like everything about him. He's very church-oriented. He loves that opportunity to speak and speak so highly of God and his presence and all that other stuff. That speaks volume of who he is as a player and a leader of this organization. As far as Tyreek Hill is a complete moron. Okay, nobody. I repeat, nobody. Do I believe that Tyreek Hill hurt his wrist when the cops did what they did to him? Maybe. But because you're having a bad season, you're not having the season that you had last year, you're going to make an excuse now that you were keeping under the wraps? The reason why, Tyreek, is you are being butthurt all over social media. Everybody's attacking you. Social media is attacking you on the fantasy situation. Your fantasy, where you were one of the best fantasy players last year, to really not even a top 5 fantasy player. You've fallen off. Now, as you get older, Tyreek Hill is 1 year old. He's getting up there in age. As a wide receiver, he already said that he doesn't want to play that much longer. He already came out and said he's not even going to finish that 3-year extension that he had with Miami. So he's already looking on the outside, looking in. Now, as far as him on social media and on, podcasting, we all know what Tyreek likes to do. He had his own vodcast. I mean, his vlog where everybody's following. He was hanging out in the mall. He does stupid things. He calls himself the cheetah. He's nuts. That's who he is. That's his personality. If that's what he wants to sell. As far as the NFL investigating the Dolphins and the organization, the Dolphins, look who their owner is. Look who their owner is. Do I have to speak any more? I mean, the 2 craziest owners in the NFL are who, Speedy?
Jerry Jones and Stephen Ross.
And who and where do these teams play in?
The South.
Who and where do these teams play in?
One in Texas, one in Florida.
That's right. No, but that's not what I'm saying. One plays in the AFC East, and the other one plays in the NFC East. These are organizations that mimic each other. Honestly, they're absolutely mimics of one another. The only thing is the Cowboys actually have won more games in the last 5 to 6 years, and Miami finally figured it out because they found a coach that's competent, actually knows what he's somewhat doing. But right now, the Dolphins organization is in a state of flux. They honestly don't know what they're going to do with Tua. And if Tua is going to finish out that contract, I do not believe Tua will finish out that contract. As far as Tyreek Hill is concerned, I expect Tyreek Hill to play one more year in the NFL, and he is off. He's either going to go and retire, or he's going to ask to be traded to Kansas City or somebody else where he has a chance to win another Super Bowl. Besides that, I think Tyreek Hill is trying to be Tyreek Hill. He wants to be the talk of the town. And right now, the Dolphins are nothing to talk about as we've watched them over the last couple of weeks. Just absolutely bombshell everything that everybody thought they were going to be this year. And maybe it's Tua's injury. Maybe it's Tyreek Hill not being 100% healthy. Nevertheless, this team and this organization has done this before. Ask Brian Flores.
As we've heard Tua speak, if he didn't feel he wasn't ready, or if they had told him whatever, you can't take the instinct away. Obviously, we all look at it from a different perspective. But when you're grinding and you're battling, you're not thinking about that. He's thinking about trying to make a play after he throws an interception. Yeah, do we look at it as stupid? Yeah, but if you play scared, you're going to get hurt either way. It doesn't matter. He's going on reaction, and he knows what he's been through. He knows exactly what his, I don't even know what you would even call it, but he's going to make a play. He's not worried about what the hell's going to happen to him because you're an athlete. You go make a play. And yeah, you threw an interception. You're going to go make the play. And I think that's one thing that I don't think we look at enough, because at the same time, it's like when that happens, it's like, oh, he shouldn't have lowered his head, blah, blah, blah. You can't really tell him not to do that because he's being reactionary. That's what he's doing. He's just trying to make a play. And I mean, it's tough to do because you kind of cringe a little bit because like what he's been through, but you can't take that competitive nature away from somebody, because then why should they even play? Because he's going after the play, he's making the play. It is what it is. Should he have lowered his head? Truth be told, probably not. But at the same time, you can't tell him not to, because he's giving you everything he's got and he's leaving it all out on the field.
To go back to Tyreek Hill and what Tyreek Hill is saying, and also CeeDee Lamb, I mentioned two organizations, the Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. Two wide receivers making excuses now. Just think about it. CeeDee Lamb saying that the light was in his eye and that's why he couldn't catch the ball. And now you have Tyreek Hill saying out of nowhere, because his season, just like CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill was one of the best wide receivers in the league last year, and so was CeeDee Lamb. They were practically 1-2 or 1-3. I mean, these guys were the best in the league. Now all of a sudden they're not having the season they have, and here comes the excuses. Oh, wow. And that's going back to the organizations. That's where they're connected. They have two owners that are absolutely insane. It's all about the face and what coach and who I'm bringing in and what star I'm bringing in. And the next thing is having these personalities that are absolutely ridiculous. I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that CeeDee Lamb was going to make excuses like this. We know what Tyreek Hill is going to do, but I never would have thought CeeDee Lamb was going to go, hey, the light's in my eyes. If we put curtains up, I catch the ball more this year. That's ridiculous.
Well, at the same time, too, you think about, look at Tyreek Hill. It literally the longest drought of his career. He didn't catch a touchdown for 7 games. And then now he wants to make an excuse and catches a touchdown. But he literally had the longest drought of his career of not catching a touchdown. I mean, he went off in, week 2?
Mm-hmm.
And did what he did. But he hadn't caught another touchdown for the last 7 weeks. And then now it comes out, and it's like, oh, my thumb, my wrist, my tendon. And then he catches a touchdown. It was the longest drought of his career. But now there's an excuse. Like, either own it or don't. Like, if we suck, we suck. That's just no more, no less. Don't give excuses about some BS that doesn't really matter when you're just trying to make an excuse. Like, you don't need to. Like, we all see it. And it's like the longest drought. And you know how active he is in social media and all that. You know he sees these stats.
Of course.
And the things that we post or we talk about, he's hearing it or he's seeing it. So he knows. And so then you have to go and say, oh, yeah, you know what? They caused this. Speedy, you were 100% correct. If he would have said that from the get-go, you ain't got nothing to stand on. You're like, well, he said it from the get-go. Maybe this is a real thing.